The night was alive with a furious snowstorm, each flake slicing through the dense pine forest like shards of glass. Inside her tiny wooden cabin, Sarah Miller, a 33-year-old single mother with chestnut hair falling softly around her face, stirred a pot of soup, her warm brown eyes glancing nervously toward the frosted windows. The wind howled like a wild animal, rattling the cabin walls, but inside, the glow of the fire cast a golden warmth that felt fragile against the storm's fury. Her son, Eli, only 8, sat cross-legged on the rug by the hearth, blonde hair messy, bright blue eyes glued to the dancing flames as he quietly colored in his sketchbook. The cozy room smelled of wood smoke and broth, but Sarah's mind raced. Snow blanketed the forest in silence, broken only by the occasional creak of ice-laden branches. Then, through the haze of snow and darkness, she saw it, headlights, dozens of them, piercing the blizzard. Her heart skipped. Bikers. Strangers, lost in the storm, appearing like ghosts on the frozen path. A shiver ran down her spine, both from the cold and from fear of the unknown. But when she opened the door, a tall, bearded man, snow-dusted and exhausted, raised a gloved hand in quiet greeting. Behind him, the storm seemed to pause, the forest holding its breath. That single moment would change her life forever, and what began as a desperate night would grow into a story of trust, warmth, and a family formed in the heart of a freezing winter. The storm had not yet relented when the first shivering figure stumbled into the cabin. Sarah Miller, 33, stood near the stone fireplace, her shoulder-length chestnut hair damp from the cold and cheeks flushed from both worry and the warmth of the fire. She wore a thick cream wool sweater, faded jeans, and thick socks, her brown eyes wide but gentle as she took in the group of weary strangers. 25 bikers, snow-laden and exhausted, huddled near the fire, their black leather jackets dripping with melting snow, boots leaving wet footprints across the wooden floor. Beside Sarah, Eli, her 8-year-old son, watched with wide blue eyes, blonde hair tousled, his red knitted sweater and gray corduroy pants dusted with snow. He clutched a small wooden toy truck, fascinated yet cautious, peeking from behind his mother as she moved among the bikers, offering bowls of steaming soup. The smell of broth mingled with wood smoke, creating a cozy haven that contrasted sharply with the icy blizzard just beyond the frosted windows. One biker, large and rugged, knelt to hand Eli a chocolate bar, smiling beneath his frost-covered beard. The boy's face lit up in an innocent grin, and a ripple of warmth spread through the room. Sarah's nervousness softened as laughter and conversation began to fill the cabin, replacing the tension of the storm with human connection. Rick, the tall, broad leader with gray-streaked dark beard and kind gray eyes, stood near the fire, silently observing the scene. The flickering orange glow reflected on his worn leather jacket, revealing a faded Iron Shield's MC patch. For a moment, strangers became family, the storm outside fading in importance as warmth, trust, and quiet compassion settled over the cabin, binding them together against the night. The first light of morning spilled gently across the snow-covered pine forest, painting the world in soft gold and silver. Sarah Miller, 33, stepped onto the cabin porch, wrapped in her cream wool shawl over a thick sweater. Her chestnut hair caught the morning light, and her brown eyes shone with disbelief and quiet joy. The storm had passed, leaving the world hushed and sparkling, but the real miracle was unfolding before her eyes. Around her cabin, the 25 bikers she had sheltered the night before were hard at work. Leather jackets still dusted with frost, they shoveled snow from the porch, stacked firewood neatly against the cabin wall, and repaired the old fence that had sagged under winter's weight. Their laughter echoed through the crisp air, deep and genuine, blending with the soft creak of wood and crunch of snow under boots. Eli, 8, bundled in his red knitted sweater and gray corduroy pants, darted between the men, offering small hands to carry sticks or handing them tools. His blonde hair glimmered in the sunlight, and his bright blue eyes sparkled with excitement and admiration. He giggled as one biker taught him to tighten a screw, the boy's innocent curiosity bridging the gap between their rough, weathered exteriors and the warm family he had begun to imagine. Rick, tall and broad, with his graying dark beard and tired gray eyes, stood by the truck overseeing the work. He barked instructions softly, but his eyes frequently lifted to Sarah, a hint of respect and gratitude softening his rugged features. She waved at him, lips trembling in a smile. "I don't know how to thank you," she called. Rick nodded, his voice steady but gentle. "You already did, when you opened your door." In that golden morning light, surrounded by the warmth of human kindness, Sarah realized the night strangers had become more than visitors, they had become family, leaving their mark on her cabin, her heart and her son. Late morning sunlight glittered off the freshly fallen snow, turning the forest into a sparkling wonderland. Sarah Miller, 33, stood at the cabin porch, wrapped in her cream wool sweater and brown shawl, her chestnut hair catching the golden rays. Her brown eyes widened in disbelief, and her heart raced as a deep rumble rolled across the valley. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but then it grew louder, the unmistakable sound of engines. Eli, 8, blonde hair tousled, blue eyes wide, and rosy cheeks glowing in the sunlight, ran to her side, clutching his small wooden toy truck. "Mom! Look," he cried, pointing toward the ridge. Over the snowy hill emerged hundreds of bikers, their leather jackets glistening under the morning light, motorcycles forming a long, powerful line that seemed endless. Steam rose from tires, glinting in the soft gold, and the rumble of engines vibrated through the snow like a heartbeat. The sheer sight took Sarah's breath away. She knelt, pulling Eli close, wrapping her shawl tighter around them both, feeling warmth and awe at once. Rick, tall and broad, led the formation, his dark beard streaked with frost now melting in the sun, gray eyes steady and kind. He gave a small nod toward Sarah, his helmet under one arm, his posture strong yet gentle. Around him, bikers waved, their rugged faces softened by smiles of gratitude and camaraderie. Sarah's lips trembled as she whispered, "They came back, for us." Eli leaned into her side, his small hand gripping hers, his blue eyes reflecting wonder and joy. The stormy night had passed, replaced by this breathtaking display of loyalty and kindness. In that moment, strangers became family, and Sarah realized that warmth, trust, and courage could arrive on the coldest day, riding on hundreds of roaring wheels. The late afternoon sun bathed the snow-covered forest in soft golden light, casting long shadows across Sarah Miller's small wooden cabin. Sarah, 33, stood on the porch, her chestnut hair glowing in the sunlight, wrapped in her cream wool sweater and brown shawl. Her brown eyes were wide with amazement and gratitude as she watched the bikers move with surprising care and precision around her home. The once quiet clearing was now alive with energy. 25 leather-clad bikers, still dusted with frost from the morning ride, worked together seamlessly, hammering loose boards back into place, stacking fresh firewood, shoveling snow from the porch, and even repairing the old fence that had sagged under winter's weight. Laughter echoed through the trees, deep and warm, mixing with the crisp sound of crunching snow and the occasional clink of tools. Eli, 8, blonde hair messy and glowing in the sunlight, wore his red knitted sweater and gray corduroy pants. He ran between the bikers, small hands eager to help, learning how to tighten a screw or hand over a plank. Each time he smiled, a biker would grin back, softening his rugged exterior, teaching him with patience and gentle encouragement. Rick, tall and broad with a graying dark beard, oversaw the work near the truck. His tired gray eyes shone with pride, softened whenever they met Sarah's gaze. The warmth in his expression mirrored the glow of the cabin behind them. By the time the work was nearly finished, the cabin looked renewed, sturdy, welcoming, and alive with human warmth. Sarah handed out steaming cups of cocoa, watching Eli giggle as he offered cookies to the bikers. The forest seemed to hold its breath, glowing in golden light, reflecting the quiet truth, kindness, generosity, and teamwork could turn a frozen, lonely cabin into a home filled with laughter, love, and unexpected family. The soft golden light of dawn painted the snow-covered forest in gentle hues of amber and rose. Sarah Miller, 33, stood on the porch of her cabin, wrapped in her cream wool sweater and brown shawl, her shoulder-length chestnut hair catching the morning rays. Her brown eyes glistened with tears of gratitude, and a quiet strength radiated from her expression. Beside her, Eli, 8, small and fair with tousled blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and rosy cheeks, clutched his beloved wooden toy truck tightly, his red knitted sweater and gray corduroy pants dusted with snow. In the clearing, Rick, tall and broad-shouldered with a graying dark beard, adjusted his helmet under the soft sunlight. His black leather jacket, adorned with the faded Iron Shield's MC patch, reflected the morning glow. Around him, hundreds of bikers stood on their motorcycles, engines idling and chrome glinting, their breath forming misty clouds in the crisp winter air. Sarah placed a hand on Eli's shoulder as the bikers prepared to leave. Her voice trembled, warm and soft. They came as strangers, but left as family. Eli leaned into her side, blue eyes wide, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah," he whispered, awe in his voice. Rick lifted a hand in farewell, smiling beneath his helmet. "Take care, both of you," he said, voice steady but kind. Eli waved energetically, calling, "Bye, Uncle Rick." The engines roared as the bikers slowly departed, tires crunching over snow, sunlight glinting off chrome and leather, turning the retreating group into a moving line of silver and gold. Smoke rose gently from the cabin chimney, curling into the pale morning sky. The forest grew quiet once more, but Sarah and Eli remained on the porch, hearts full. The warmth of human kindness, courage, and connection lingered in the air, leaving a lasting mark that no winter storm could ever erase.